Partio. Welcome to another retro ranking, the show where we look at more the singles of some of the bands from either from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and now and again we might dive into the 90s. Who knows? So today we're looking at a band that was formed on the Isle of Wight. For those of you not from the UK, the Isle of Wight is this little island off the south coast. You can go round. It takes you about 40 minutes to drive around it. It doesn't take long at all. It's a very small island, and it's also a county, an English county. And the band we're talking about are Level 42. They are a jazz funk band, and the unique slap bass of Mr. Mark King. Very big in the 80s. Lots of hit singles. They sort of broke America a little bit, but in the 90s they sort of went down. Their popularity went down, and they disbanded in 94, but they reformed in 2001, and they're still sort of playing, I do believe. So the classic band was, of course, Mark King on vocals and bass, Mike Lindrup on the keyboards and piano, Phil Gould on drums, and the late Roland Gould on guitars, who sadly died in 2019. Played guitars and saxophone in the early days. I quite like them. I'm not. Level 42 are one of these bands that you've heard that, there's, I've got a greatest hits album, and that's all I need really. But there's one or two bits I have heard, and I have included them on this because I've not got what I call the greatest hits album. I've actually got an anthology. I tend to buy like anthologies because you get some tracks, you get the singles and some of their best studio albums tracks. So this is where a lot of this came from. I found 10 songs I really like, and I'm going to share them with you as always. So coming in at number 10, we have a single that was from 1992, got to number 55 in the charts, and it's called My Father's Shoes. I've got a soft spot for these sort of songs. They tell stories. It's a great vocal from Mark King, as always. Some nice guitar work here from Roland Gould, but it's got that distinctive slap bass from Mark King. Really good track. Now this next track, coming at number 9 from 1987, it's from the Running in the Family album. Now I know this track because I used to work with someone that was really into them, and this is all they ever played in their car on cassette. And it's called Fashion Fever, and I sort of love this because I love that slap bass. It's got such a catchy tune, but it's got that real twang on the bass. Absolutely brilliant little track. So that's why that's at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we got another album track. It's on an anthology I've got from 1988, and it's called Two Hearts Collide. It's from Staring at the Sun. This certainly's got that distinctive Level 42 sound from the bass from Mark King and Mike Lindrup's keyboard sound. For though it is very 80s, it's got this distinctive sound, and it really is a good track. Great little track, that one. Coming in at number 7, we go to 1984 now. An album called True Colours, and it's called True Believers. That slap bass dominates this track. It's really good, and some nice guitar work from Mr. Gould. Coming in at number 6 then, we go to the World Machine album. And there's another track that the person I used to work with played me. It's from the... It's actually a deep cut track, and it's called A Good Man in a Storm. Great bass line. Again, it's got some really nice keyboard bits in it. I really like this song. Now, coming in at number 5, this is a B-side of a song called Weave Your Spell. And this is actually on like a B-side album that I found, and it's called The Return of the Handsome Rugged Man. It's an instrumental sort of jazz fusion sort of track. Really good. It's got a great bass line. Of course it's going to have a great bass line, and some of the keyboard work from Mike is terrific. I really like this song. And you got a great guitar solo from Roland Gould as well, so it's not too bad. Now this next song, I came across this from sheer coincidence when I was actually doing some research for this. Now this track is from the Running in the Family, and it's a single that I was not particularly fond of. It's called It's Over. But going through this, I found that they've done an album that's an acoustic sort of version of Running in the Family. And this song, It's Over, this is from the 2013 version. It's acoustic and it is brilliant. I love this version. I thought the original was a little bit wishy-washy and passed around the bucket. I don't know if it's the sound, but the acoustic version is much better, and I love it. Really like that song, but I don't like the original. Funny that. Okay, then coming at number 3, we got a 1983 now, and a song that got to number 10 in the charts. One of their hits, The Sun Goes Down, Living It Up. Great song from the 80s. Okay, it's got definitely that 80s sound, but it's just a very catchy tune and memorable, and that's why it's my number 3, because it is so memorable. Coming in at number 2, going to 1987, another of their big hits. Got to number 6 in the UK, number 83 in the US, and it's Running in the Family. Classic song. Again, that great keyboard sound from Mike. Great vocal from Mark King. Very catchy tune. My number 1. Well, again, there's the song that really thought, oh, this guy can play bass. From 1986. Got to number 3 in the UK, number 12 in the USA, Lessons in Love. Love the start of that guitar, and then that wonderful bass line from Mark King. It's just a great track. I love that track. One of my favourite songs from 1986. Okay then, we've got some honourable mentions, of course. And the first one, again, this is a track that I heard the tune and I didn't realise it was Level 42. And it's from the very first album from 1981, just called Level 42. And it's called Heathrow. The keyboards in this are brilliant. You got a fantastic sax solo on it. That's the bit I remember hearing, and I don't know how I heard this, but I thought this is really good. And then it was years later I discovered it was Level 42. So I didn't know what it was called. I forgot what it was called, so I had to go through all the tracks, and I found it, which I'm chuffed about, and it made my honourable mentions. Really good stuff. My next one is from 2006. It's a song from an album called Retroglide, and it's the title track. It's got some really good guitar work on this from Roland. Again, I discovered this not so long ago, and I really like it. Hence why I wanted to give it an honourable mention, because all their other stuff is from the 80s. This is one of their newer songs, and it is absolutely fantastic. And then my final one is a one from 1988, and it's the title track from Staring at the Sun. Staring at the Sun. Again, another track that I heard back in the day, and it's got some nice harmonies, a nice atmosphere. Again, strong bass line, some lovely keyboard work on this track, Staring at the Sun. Excellent track. Okay, there's Level 42. Really successful band, made some really good music. Weren't many jazz sort of funk bands around that could do it as good as them. I think all that's down to is the fantastic bass work of Mr. Mark King. Truly one of the greats on the bass. Okay, that's all for today. We'll definitely be back tomorrow for a music marathon, and it's sort of part 2 of Alice Cooper that was asked for, and tomorrow we're looking at the huge catalogue of his solo career. Looking forward to that one. Huge Alice Cooper fan I am. Okay then, also we might have sometime this week a special, so look out for that, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.